I think that we are good to go. Good morning, good morning. Oh my gosh. I just got a message. I logged on to Facebook and I got a message that one of my posts in my own Facebook group was flagged as it was flagged as going against community standards. Okay. So I don't know. And it was, I don't even know what it was. It was an event that I had here in the group that I didn't cancel. I just said, okay, well, not very many people showed up, so I'm not going to do this anymore. And they flagged that as against community standards. Like, I don't know. Facebook, we all have a love-hate relationship with Facebook. Anyway, good morning, good morning. Happy to see so many of you logging on. Happy Friday. Wait, is this the right? Yes. Okay. All right, good. All righty. So it looks like we are ready to rock and roll. All right. So those of you who have been with us for a while know that I have been taking a poll at what's it called? A relaxed, not unofficial, I can't remember, like poll on my hair. Okay, so my hair has gone through some evolution the last couple of months, and this is, for those of you keeping track, this is hair number 4. Now, I was going to be wearing hair number 3 today, so I could get some votes. Overwhelmingly, people have said number 4 is their favorite. But I was going to wear number 3 and just kind of gauge and see what it looks like on camera. But I can't because I have a ton of videos to record today, new ads that are coming out. And what's funny is that I wore this hair for the most recent ads. You may have seen this in your Facebook group or in your Facebook feed. And it's crazy that I am getting comments on my ads about my hair. This is the first time I've ever gotten comments on an ad about my hair. Maybe it's because it's you guys. Maybe it's you guys that are commenting on them. But anyway, so I have a ton more ads to record today. And then I also, we are starting, this is super exciting, we are starting some short form videos on all of the things. So Instagram, TikTok, Facebook Reels, YouTube Shorts. So Jen has been managing that. You guys know Jen because she is the one that records all of the exercise videos. So when you go in and do the exercises and you see that beautiful lady walking through the exercises for you, that's Jen. Anyway, so she's managing this whole project that we're doing to record a bunch of short form videos. And so since this is the fan favorite hair, I'm going to have to go do that one. But next time you see me, not for Mindset Monday, but the next live stream will be, it will be hair number 3. So just so that we can gauge, just so I know that this is everyone's favorite, but I just want to gauge. Okay. Now, speaking of next week, there will not be a live stream next week. Joel's brother is getting married. So yay, Joel's brother. If you want to wish them well, it's Christopher and Riva. And I don't think they'll mind me telling their name. They're to the world on YouTube. But anyway, so congratulations to them. And so we are going to be en route to their wedding next weekend. So there will be no live stream. There will be an exercise of the week. And then when we meet again for the live stream, we'll do 2 of the exercises so that we can walk them through together. And the next topic is, so we are just about wrapped up with kind of like the bank. This is the last of the banking ones. The next kind of group of topics is about reports. So we're going to hit those. And then we have some journal entries and sales summaries that we need to do. And then we will be wrapped up with kind of this current season or this current series and get on to some what I am like super excited about, like what's going to happen next. But anyway, yes, Jen is wonderful. I will be sure and tell her that you said that. She is amazing, and it's just a funny story how she started working for us, and which I'm not going to tell today, but I always joke that like she was the employee that I never knew I needed. So anyway, so yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I will do my little introduction here, and then we'll start working. Welcome to all of you who are brand new, joining us on the live stream for the first time today. We always have a handful of you. My name is Margie Remmers-Davis, and this is our weekly live stream that we hold inside our free Facebook group. So if you're watching this live, then you're already in our Facebook group called the QBO Gym Locker Room. If you're watching the recording on YouTube, then let me tell you a little bit about us and what you have stumbled on. All right. So the Facebook group is, oh my gosh, so sorry. That was very sensitive. The Facebook group, here we go. That's what I meant to do. Is called the QBO Gym Locker Room. And inside the locker room, you get this is your spot for hands-on practice using QuickBooks Online. That is what we do. That is our entire focus, is hands-on practice, hands-on practice, hands-on practice. Like, I believe that is how you learn. And we have a little catchphrase, practice makes profit. So, so we want you to practice your skills in QuickBooks Online. Oops. And so we're going to give you, when you join the locker room, you are going to get a free Getting Started course. The Getting Started course covers everything about how to get your free QuickBooks Online accountant account. That is different than the subscription that business owners pay for. An accountant account is specifically for you to be able to connect with multiple clients, okay? And so we talk about that. We talk about, in the Getting Started course, how to get your free QuickBooks Online accountant account, what the difference is between the subscriptions that people are paying for. We talk about the training, how to access the sample company, which is where you get the hands-on practice. We talk about workflows in QuickBooks Online, best practices, terminology, and then you actually get to practice doing some simple things in the hands-on exercises part of the course. All totally free. If you are watching this live, that means you're already in the locker room, which means you already have your Getting Started course. And if you don't know how to access it, reach out to support@fastandeasyqbo.com, and we will get you squared away. A lot of times, like, there's problems with your email. Maybe you typed your email wrong when you registered. Maybe you have previously opted out of stuff that we're sending you. Maybe you're bouncing. Like, there's all sorts of reasons why you would not get that email, but we can look into your account for you, okay? So also, as a member of the locker room, you have access to over 100 free exercises. And people always ask, how do I find the free exercises? And here is where they are. If you scroll down, you'll find that there is a featured section in the group. You can see there's a tab here. There's also this here. If you're on your phone, you might have to do the little hamburger up in the upper left-hand corner, but what you're looking for is the featured section. And then there is this welcome post. This welcome information, by the way, was also emailed to you. In addition to your the Getting Started course, We also got a welcome email, which again, if you're having problems with your email, then that would, you would not have gotten that either. So, but inside the group, there is this welcome post, and that has a link to it to the 100, there's over 100 absolutely free exercises that you can use to get comfortable, confident, and knowledgeable in QuickBooks Online. You also have the ability to get the free exercise of the week, which is what we're doing here today, and joining our weekly live streams, which is happening every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern, where we actually walk through the exercise of the week. The exercise of the week is actually part of our paid course, which is the QBO gym. So people get confused. This is the locker room. It's free. Everyone can hang out. Everyone can do exercises. But we also have a paid course, which is the QBO gym. The QBO gym is an opportunity for you to practice actually being a bookkeeper. So it was born out of the idea, people said there's two things that people say. One is they would say get certified as a pro advisor for QuickBooks Online, and they'll say, well, I passed the test, but I still don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so that's one thing. The other thing is people are saying, well, I want to get a job, but I don't have any experience, and all the jobs want experience. So how can you get experience without a job? And it's a big topic. People are always saying, how can I, bridge this gap, get experience, and that's why we created the QBO gym. The QBO gym is an entire year of practice. And by year, I don't mean calendar year. I mean a year's worth of content, an accounting year, okay? So it's an entire, let me just make this just a smidge bigger, an entire year. So are you looking for a job that requires 1 year of experience? Well, this is how you're going to get 1 year of experience. And you want to treat this, if you subscribe to the gym, you want to treat this like as your first client. And you're going to walk through these AI simulations with a fictitious business owner, and you're going to actually do the things that you would actually do if you were a bookkeeper. And along the way, all of these things are going to happen to this fictitious business owner in his business that you're going to have to do, that you're going to have to handle, that you're going to have to record. So you're going to be exposed actually to far more than you would if you just actually got a client or, got a job somewhere. So, anyway, so that is the gym. Now, everything that you do in the gym is tracked in our dashboard, which is called BooksMatch. Oh, I forgot to have this pulled up. Okay, so in BooksMatch, we track the actual skills that you have done. As you are working in the gym, you earn credit in BooksMatch, and this credit is tracking the actual skills that you have learned, okay? And we separate it into skill groups. And so you can see there's these 10 skill groups. And so if you click on one of the skill groups, these are the individual skills that you are verifying. So here's the thing, is that as you go through the gym, you are actually, when Margie sets it up correctly, verifying that you know how to do those things, okay? So we're tracking that. You can compare yourself to the rest of the group here. And then we're gonna take all of this information and we're tracking 3 very specific metrics. The first is your knowledge, okay? The knowledge is the breadth of experience that you have, okay? So the full amount of knowledge that you've been able to glean by going through the training. The second is your consistency. We want to see that you are constantly upskilling at least every 2 weeks. Okay, and then I'll tell you why in just a minute. And then the third one is well, that's interesting that he has 0 here, but he's still listed as high. Joel, would you take a note, make a note too about this? Like this should not be, you shouldn't be listed as high if you have 0 skill points. So make a note about that too. We'll get back to that. Anyway, speed does not have to do with how fast you go through an exercise. It has to do with how many exercises you have been able to complete in a given week. And there must be a problem there because I don't know why it says 0. That should be a higher number. Let me pull up somebody else. Let's see let's see. So Billy is ranked first today. And let's go into Julie's here. Yeah, see, Julie here has 17 17 skill points this week. I don't know why. Let me go back to Billy here. Maybe it was just a glitch. Nope, Billy still says 0. So that's very strange. I don't know what that's. I'm going to research that, figure out what that's about. So then we use these 3 metrics to then to rank you, and you'll be ranked as activity, knowledge, and speed, as exceptional talent, or there's other top talent, rising talent. You'll see in just a second. Now, here's the thing, is that if you are an active member of the gym, we're tracking all of this information, not just for you, although it can be motivating to see how you're ranked with other people and see your numbers grow. But you have the opportunity to open, there's a little button, I'm not looking on the accountant side, but there's a little button that says open to work. And so if you're open to work, then other people in the world, businesses, can look in our pool of people and they can hire you, reach out to you, find you if you mark that little thing, and they can actually see what you're doing. Now, I'm going to get off of my screen share because this is really important. This has come up recently, and I mentioned it in the newsletter that came out this morning. Also, another reason to make sure your email is working. The newsletter I talked about BooksMatch. Now, we as a company pay money to reach out to companies that are currently, we are finding companies that have bookkeeper positions listed on Indeed and Monster. And we are actively reaching out to them and saying, hey, sign up for BooksMatch and look at our, look at our candidates, and then they can reach out to you. So we're actively doing that. We're actively sending people to look at your profile so that you can, hopefully land some jobs, okay? But BooksMatch, and again, this came up recently, is not a lead generation service. Now, there are all sorts of lead generation services out there. I don't know if they are, I know of one for bookkeeping. I don't even know if it's even going anymore, where you pay money and then every month you get leads. It's kind of, your Pro Advisor profile is kind of like that too. But there are services where you can pay money to get the contact information from people that have indicated an interest in looking for a bookkeeper. Kind of like if you know about Lending Tree. So Lending Tree, you can go on and say, yeah, I'm looking for a loan for whatever. And then, 10 people will reach out to you after that and say, hey, I hear you're looking for a loan. And then they'll try and sell you a loan package. So there are all sorts of lead services where you can just pay money and get leads. I only know of one for bookkeeping. It's very expensive. And the people that I know that have done it have not been super excited about the leads that they got. But my point is, that's not what BooksMatch is. BooksMatch is not a lead generation service. The other thing is that it's also not like Upwork or Fiverr, where you put up your profile and people post that they're looking for jobs and they search for you and you go back and forth with a profile. The BooksMatch is a new concept, okay? With Upwork and Fiverr and all of those things, you put your profile and you just say that you're good. There's nothing that proves that you actually know what you're talking about. Okay? BooksMatch is a new concept. BooksMatch is, look, you're proving that you actually have these skills. You're proving that you have actually done these things. And so that is a new, that's a new thing. Okay. So I want to make sure that you understand it's not a lead generation service. You're not paying to get leads. You're not just posting your profile. It's actually keeping track of the work that you do. It is watching you do the work. You get these, you get all these skill points, and you're getting all of these, and it's showing the world that you have actually done the thing. Okay, it's not just your word for it. It's demonstrating they're actually doing it. That's why it's so valuable, and that's why we are so excited about it. And we're actively spending money. Our company is spending money to promote this, to promote you guys, because you guys are amazing and you've done all this work. Okay, let me go to the chat real quick. All right, so Pat is asking, are there any current discounts for the gym? No. However, if there's no promotions running currently or anything like that. There are two ways to get discounted access to the gym. One is, if you're brand new, you would like to just check it out and see what it's like, then you can join the gym challenge. Okay, so the gym challenge is 5 days that you have access to the gym, and you work on some of the exercises for the 5 days to see what it's like. Okay, at the end of the 5-day challenge, if you decide that you want to sign up for the gym, then you get a special price. It's 5 days of doing it. You actually have 10 days total to decide, and then you get a discount if you do that route. And Joel can post that in the chat for the challenge. Okay, so that's one way you can get a discount. The other way you can get a discount is that if you have taken any of our certification courses, and gotten your certification, then there is a student discount code. I think it's 25% off. So you can get 25% off if you take one of our certification courses and pass. Then you can get almost all of our courses that applies for. There might be some that don't. I can't remember, but definitely the gym, you can get that 25% discount. Okay. See, Laura is asking, but the points are different than the knowledge points, correct? Yeah, so here is, I think, what you're asking. For those of you who've not actually been in the gym, let me just go screen share. So everything I keep forgetting. Okay, so everything in the gym is gamified. So when you go into one of the lessons, it always starts with a little animated video that tells you what's happening in Craig's business. So there's a little animated video, and then you do stuff and you answer some questions. And then every time you do an exercise and you click, it goes ka-ching, and you get these little points here. Those points are not directly related to the BooksMatch points. And I think that's what your question is, Laura. And the reason is because we initially were using the XP points, but they weren't reliable. We couldn't, it's their platform and it didn't always work correctly, and we're not in control of it. So we built our own. So the ones that you see where you get that little ka-ching and and the numbers, the difference here is if I go back to the inside the gym and I pull up the drawer. Okay, so it's just, there's XP points and XXP. XP just means experience, and XXP, I don't know, extra experience that comes from the gaming world. I'm not a gamer, But these are the required points, and these are like the extra above and beyond things that you can do. You do earn certain things. Like, so once you get to 100 points here, you unlock a consult. So you can, if you have a problem with your books, like if you have a client and you have like a real life situation, you can pay at a ridiculously low rate. You can pay for time with Andy Celine, who you might know from Compass Rose Bookkeeping. He's amazing, and he can help you work out your issues. And he's done several of those, and he and I know several of you have like really enjoyed having that. But you have to have earned 100 points. You have to be. Do you have to be certified? You might have to be. I think you have to be certified and have earned 100 points in the gym. But I might be wrong about the certification. But anyway, 100 points. And then also at 250 points, that's when you unlock the exercise of the week, which is what we're here to talk about. And it's already 11:31 and I haven't even done it. Okay. Oh, Jackie says she's used Andy's services before and he's awesome. Yeah, he's really like so knowledgeable. Let's see. So that was that point. I think that was your question about, so the XP points. Oh, what I started to say was these points are they're just numbers. Whereas the points that you earned, because we had to build it ourselves because we couldn't rely on the XP points, it allowed us the opportunity to make it more specific. So that's where we could track exactly what you're doing and put it in the skill groups. So they're not, to answer your question, they are not exactly the same. All right, let me go back to, let's see. Let's see. Where'd it go? Can you hide your profile until you get the rating or the points you want? Yes. There's a little toggle that says open to work. So you decide when your profile is, when you're ready for it to be open to the world. Yes. There are a lot of people. So, and we have to do something about this because there are a lot of people that are very highly ranked, but are not, that don't have the little toggle open to work. I don't know what that's about. So we plan to somehow reach out to these people and say, what's up with you? Maybe they're just full. I mean, once you start getting clients, then you can't turn off the faucet. You will be so overwhelmed. There are so much more work available than there are bookkeepers to do it. We're going to talk about that at the end. But Diane says, can we get access to the 5-day if we never finished it? Nope, it's a one-time thing. You know what? Write to support at fastandeasyqbo.com. Well, we would have to, I don't know. It's tricky on the back end to do that. So, yeah. So, that would be tricky for us to do. Okay, let's see what other questions. Joel put in quotes about the, Iris. This is a nice comment. I got the QBO gym discount and I was really surprised and happy. I was already geared to pay regular price. Well worth the original price, so discount is gravy. Awesome. I'm so glad you feel that way. Yay. Okay. Let's see. What to see? I've used Andy's. I forgot. What are the numbers that change your ranking? Oh, okay. Let me go back to that for a second. Okay. So these are all, so that the knowledge and skills will be green if you're in the top 20%. Okay, so top 20% puts you green. Actually, the same is true for consistency. The consistency, you only though have to do one thing You only have to do one exercise to be at high consistency. Like, that's all you have to do. So that's why we have an exercise of the week, is so that you can do some. The reason we created this is because we were early on working with a recruiter to develop this. And she said that her number one frustration was reaching out to people who weren't actually looking for work anymore. And she said that she wasted so much time. She said she wasted so much time on that. And so she actually wanted us to have everybody just check in every week. Just check in every week, like check a little box to say, yes, I'm still looking. Yes, I'm still looking. And then I said, well, I don't want them to just check a little box. I want them to actually do work. So that's why we created an exercise of the week. And we thought that every week was a little excessive. So that's why we changed it to 14 days. So that's why you have that. Okay. So if you have all three green, then you are you're exceptional talent. The other rankings, and I'm just going to go back to if I am a recruiter, the first thing I'm going to land on is the talent finder. And the talent finder has your name and your picture. This is why it's really important, Candy, to put to update your actual picture there. You're also going to, in your profile, say what type of employment you want. Okay, so if you are only wanting to do freelance contract work, then you put contract. If you're open to a part-time job, you put that. There's also a full-time job. Flexible means that you're open to anything. Okay, and then you have your location. And the certifications we have listed here, but they are not, they're not included in your rank. So anyway, so that's, and then to answer your other question is, so these people are marked as exceptional talent because they have green all three. Now, once you start not having green in all three, you can still be a green rank. And here's why. Let me just pull up this screen. Oh, Dothan, Alabama. I know somebody there. Okay. So Pamela here is marked as a rising talent because, again, I don't know why this is showing up as 0. What rising talent means is that your knowledge here, so the breadth of work that you've done may be on the low side, but you have been kicking butt. So this indicates that a rising talent is somebody who is new, so they don't have a lot of knowledge, but they've been kicking butt with their speed. So they are like working really hard. And so we want to highlight you if you are like that. So that's what rising talent is. And then we also have, I can actually filter them. So I have top talent is, my gosh, that is not working either. Or maybe I don't have any top talent. Top talent is the opposite. Top talent is a person who has high knowledge but low speed. And that's going to be somebody basically who's just been around a lot. We call them internally, we call them elephants. So the elephants are the people that have just been around a long time, and because they've been around a long time, they've naturally had accumulated a lot of knowledge points, and so their speed is going to be slower. The speed internally, we call them rabbits. The rabbits are the people that are working fast and are don't have as much knowledge. So the rabbits are rising talent, and the elephants are called top talent. Okay, but they're still green. It's still good. Exceptional just means you have all three. It's very difficult to get all three, but you are only green here if your consistency is green. Consistency is the most important metric. If you are not consistent, if you're not doing an exercise at least every other week, then that's going to affect your ranking. Okay. Oh my gosh, 11:41, and we still haven't done our exercise. Okay, but I'm happy to answer your questions. I just feel bad for the people who are waiting to know all this and who are waiting for the exercise. Okay, let me go back to who was that? Okay. Let's see. Suggestion. Some exercise need you to keep the QBO practice open for more than one exercise. Could this be noted in the beginning so that we know to allocate enough time to do all the exercise at once versus once per week? Okay, all of the exercises all say if you have to have multiple ones. They all say one of 5. You know, if there's like 5 exercises that you have to do, they all say it. So if you're having trouble, if you can't find where it says it, that it says it both on the page and it also says it in the exercise. So if you're having trouble, email support@fastandeasyqbo.com and Anthony can walk you through and like show you exactly where that is. And I do recognize that we need to make it more prominent, but it is there. Okay. All right. Let's see. Margie, I love that you are willing to find solutions when issues are presented. For example, helping people have experience, helping advisors find work, etc. Thanks, Erica. Okay. Jackie asks, can you add other certifications like the Intuit bookkeeping certification? Currently, no. Currently, the only certifications that we are accepting are your basic level QBO certification, your advanced level QBO certification, and the payroll certification. Okay, so those are the only ones that we are accepting right now. That may change in the relatively near future. So put a pin on that one. Yes, Tracy says, mine tells me at the beginning of the set of exercises. Yes, so that's answering Kay's question. How can I change the type of employment I'm interested in? So you're going to go into, and I'm not in the accountant version of BooksMatch, but in your record, in your profile over on the left-hand side, under basic info, you can edit. Oh, sorry, my head's covering it. You can edit the information that's there. Okay. And let's see. Oh, and can you select multiple? That's what flexible means. So select flexible if you're, open to any of them there. Okay. Define contract work. I would have thought contract work was being hired to go to a company on site for a contracted period of time, like 12 months. I would have said no to contract work because I only work remotely, outsourced bookkeeping and payroll. Can you add that option, or is it already in there? So contract work means 1099. That's all it means. 1099, you're a subcontractor, you're not an employee of the company, which means that you own your own business and you're in control of your time. You work when you say you're going to, you're in control, okay? That's what contract work means. The full-time and part-time mean that you are looking for a job with a W-2 with an employer. That's what that means. So we assume that everyone is going to work remotely. So, we do have the location there. We're just going to cross that bridge when we come to it. Like, as you guys start getting reach outs from people, tell us that, I'm getting all these people who want me to come into the office and I only work remotely, or we're not going to put that in it right now unless there is a huge need, unless it becomes a problem. Okay. All right, let's see. If we complete all of the current QBO gym exercises, paid subscription, are we qualified to apply for bookkeeping positions? This is an excellent question. This is precisely what we are working toward. Okay, so at the end of the year, once you have finished year one, and by the way, we do have 2 years of experience. So year one is very step-by-step guided. Year two is the same, but you do it in a more challenging way. So you're expected to already know how to do things. So for example, in year one, it'll say like create an invoice, and it'll say click plus new, and then select invoice, and then, guide you through in year one. In year two, it'll just say create an invoice, and then you have to be able to go create an invoice. So it gets challenging, between year one and year two. So at the end of year one, when we don't have year two all the way built out yet, so but it's coming. So in year one, at the end of year one, you actually get a certificate saying that you have 1 year of experience. And our entire goal is for the industry to recognize that you have actually 1 year of experience. Okay. So if we're trying to crack this nut. We are trying to crack this nut because, and this is like all my speaking engagements, like as I talk to, firms and all that stuff, we're trying to help them understand that when somebody says on their resume that they have X number of years of experience, it just means that they are old. It doesn't mean that they actually know what they're doing, okay? My grandma has been driving for 60 years. That doesn't mean she's good at it, okay? So we are working toward, that is precisely what we are trying, that's precisely what we're trying to do. Can you take that certificate and give it to somebody and have them recognize it? Right now, I don't know. I would love for you to try it and tell us, because simulated experience is just as good, if not better, than actual experience. The benefit of simulated experience is that in the simulation, we throw at you all sorts of things from a wide variety that if you just got a job, you wouldn't necessarily encounter that for a year or 2 or 3, right? So, but we're throwing at you, or maybe you have your client, you have this one client, you've been working with this one client for 5 years, and they're a very simple service industry. They don't have any inventory, and but in the simulation, you can learn how to handle inventory. Maybe they don't do job costing. In the simulation, we do job costing. So in many ways, the simulation is actually better than real life experience. This is the direction of our company, guys. Like, this is what we're trying to do, is we're trying to change the narrative around what experience means. Okay. Oh my gosh. 11:49. We haven't even done an exercise, but no, I'm happy to answer your questions. Okay. All right. Lillian says, is Scribe, why isn't that showing up? Oh, I know what I did. Okay. Lillian says, is Scribe available for all the exercises in the gym? Not everyone knows what Scribe is, but Scribe is what we are currently using for our exercises. When we actually get to our exercises, I'll talk more about Scribe. And the answer is no. We are slowly revamping and redoing all of our exercises. We are up through August. So, January and December are already. So the September, October, November exercises in the gym are still in our old system. So we are furiously working to redo all of those, change all of the pictures for the current interface of QBO. That is a top priority, and it will absolutely be done this summer because we have other projects we have to do and we have to get this done first. So, okay, let's see. Is there an example in QBO like you have in payroll where you have to start to finish exercise for a client? Okay, so for those of you who don't know, in the payroll course, we used to have a sample company for payroll, and we no longer, Intuit took that away from us. And so for the our payroll certification course, we actually had to build our own. It's not a sample company. You create your own training company. You have to add employees, and you have to run payroll and run reports and all of that from start to finish. So Keely's asking, is it similar in the gym? Is it similar? And the answer is no. Because in the gym, we're using the sample company and it resets every night. And that's why earlier people were asking questions about having to be in the same session of the sample company. And so that is something we are actively working on, is coming up with a solution, a way for you to have your own training company. The benefit of the sample company is that it's pre-populated. And so if you want to create your own training company, like that's a lot for us to think through. You either have to build it from scratch or import it. Like that's a big project for us. So currently the answer is no. All right. Tracy asked, similar, didn't I answered this from somebody else. This is basically the same question as Eric. Does that count as experience even though it's not paid or actually took a year? Yes, we believe it does. That this is the mission of the company and what we're trying to do. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Tracy, a different Tracy, says way too much, like I'm talking way too much before we actually get to the exercise. Yes, that's exactly what I've been saying. So the problem is that the questions, I try and like break for questions, and then sometimes the questions go really long. So yes, if you watch the YouTube version, we do have timestamps of where we do each of these things. Okay. Tracy, back to the other Tracy, says, is there a link we can send potential clients so they can see our gym stats? Yes. If you go into BooksMatch, at the top, there's a little thing that says share link, and you click that and then they can see you. Okay. Thank you. Somebody just passed. Sample company doesn't allow that. Yes. Okay, let's see. Dottie, oh, it's so big it doesn't fit in my little thing. Okay, I can't, oh my gosh, guys. Okay, I can't put you up, Dottie, so I'm gonna have to, I'm far behind due to us being hit by the hurricane last week and losing power for 5 days. So you must be in Texas. So sorry about that, Dottie. During this time, I was offered a 3-month assignment to work for a previous manager. They use QB Desktop. I'm looking forward to learning it, but I am not going to be able to focus on building my new business like I have been. How bad will this affect my scoring in BooksMatch if I only do one exercise per week? What can I do to make sure I keep my scores at a good level being new in the QBO gym? The main thing is maintaining the consistency. So doing an exercise once every other week is the most important thing. When you do, if you can set aside one day every 2 weeks to knock out a bunch of exercises. By the way, the gym, an entire month takes 3 to 4 real-time hours, okay? So if you can set aside one day, 3 to 4 hours, to do an entire month, that will keep your BooksMatch credit, that will keep your BooksMatch screen looking good, okay? All right. Yes, so Darla says maybe you could have a gym questions and discussions hour and then have the exercise start at noon. I love hearing you. I'm not complaining. I know. I'm still trying to figure it out, guys. Okay, now that the questions are done, let's go into our actual exercise. The reason that I do why do I keep doing that? The reason that I have this discussion in the beginning is because we need to know what the exercise of the week is and why we have it, okay? So the exercise of the week, so now you have the background, so you can understand that what the exercise of the week is. The purpose of it is to keep your consistency high, and it is if you have a paid subscription member, if you're a paid member of the gym, then it is unlocked after you have earned 250 points, okay? The reason that we don't unlock it sooner is because you only need it if you don't have other work to do, okay? The reason we unlock it at all is because so many people ask for it, okay? So the exercise of the week, this is what we are doing today. Let's get to it, folks. All right, so this is the exercise of the week. Today we are going to focus on importing bank rules, okay? So we talked last week, we talked about recurring transactions, okay, that you can set up. And we talked about a little bit about why you would use recurring transactions versus bank rules, okay? So if you're in recurring transactions, you have a lot more control than you do in the bank rules, okay? We also talked a couple of weeks ago, you can find them, we talked about creating bank rules. So we're not going to talk about creating bank rules so much today, except we're going to dive in a little bit on how it's structured, okay? But the thing is that you can, as a bookkeeper, you can import bank rules. Now, why would you want to do this? If you have multiple clients who are in similar industries, have similar types of expenses, then you might want to transfer what you're doing from one client over to another client, okay? All right. So that is the exercise. So this exercise is a ProAdvisor challenge. I usually spend a lot of time talking about where to find this challenge in the ProAdvisor. So this is a ProAdvisor inside your ProAdvisor account. So inside your accountant account. This is an account that, as I mentioned earlier, allows you to connect to multiple clients, okay? So if you have your free QBOA account, you can tell that you're in QBOA by it says accountant up here, because this left navigation bar is gray. And then it's also divided into sections, your practice and your books, okay? So that's how you know you're in an accountant account. If you are in an accountant account, you will have this section that says ProAdvisor, and if you select training, this is where you can find all of the free training that Intuit provides, okay? So this personalized path, you can answer questions and it will feed you specific trainings based on what your goals are. Certification Hub is where you actually take the test if you're interested in getting a certification test, and then the training or certification, and then the training library is where you go to access all of the training all at once, so finding what you want, okay? So at the top there's product training. I'm just going to close this so you can see that there's multiple things you can get product training on. There's other training that's not product related, okay? And all of the training is in these kind of different sections. And as you drill down, you'll find the ProAdvisor challenge, okay? I'm not going to go into it, as we talked so much in the beginning. I'm not going to go into as much detail as I usually do, but you'll notice in the exercise that it tells you exactly where to find the where to find the actual exercise if you want to look at the Intuit's version. Our version, the reason we take it, we put it into our signature version, is because we like ours much better and we think that it's easier to follow. Okay, so here is the exercise. Now let me take a look at this scenario. So the scenario says you have an export file containing bank rules you've generated for another client. Okay, stop. Let me just stop there and point out that the exercise doesn't teach you how to export the bank rules into it. Like, why would you import if you don't learn how to export? Okay. Anyway, so you have an export file that you want to import, okay, into a different QuickBooks Online subscription of your client Craig's landscaping. What do you need to do? Okay, you're going to have to download the rules file. We're going to talk about that too in just a minute. And based on what you've learned on this lesson, import all the rules into QuickBooks, Craig's QuickBooks Online company. Okay, so Craig is our fictitious business owner. So I'm going to go to, let me show you real quick. Okay, so we're going to start by loading the sample company. Okay, the sample company is where we do almost all of our exercises. Okay, to get to it, when you're inside an accountant account, you're going to click the gear icon. For some reason, they're now calling this the settings cog. So you'll hear two different phrases, but forever trainers have been calling it the gear icon. And you're going to go to sample company. This will log you out of your QBOA account, okay, and take you to the sample company. What this means is you should not do this during the test. If you are taking a certification test, don't open the sample company at the same time. It's an open book test, and you can look stuff up in the sample company. We teach you how to have them both open at the same time in our courses, but I'm just giving you a warning, heads up, okay? Don't do it. Okay, don't do it unless you know what you're doing, is my point. Okay, so here I am in the sample company, and you'll notice, so now I've gone to my sample company. We gave you a warning about getting logged out, okay? And you'll notice, well, here's some stuff to talk about. Let me just scroll to, okay? So the first step here that's white, okay? So these ones that are in green and red, these are just informational stuff. But when you get to the step that is white, okay, then you'll notice if you have the Scribe plugin installed, you'll see a little button that says Guide Me. This is what somebody was asking before about Scribe. What you're seeing here is an exercise that was built with an AI tool called Scribe. And Scribe has a QBO or a Chrome extension that you can load. It looks like this. It's called Scribe AI Documentation, SOPs, and probably screenshots. I don't know what that says there. But if you have this, it's a free Chrome extension loaded and turned on, then in our exercises, you'll have this little Guide Me button. And when you click it and have the sample company open at the same time, you have to have the sample company open, then it will do this nice little side by side. Okay, so you can have the exercise open at the same time as the sample company. So that's kind of a game changer for people to learn. All right, I'm gonna go, because this is kind of small and I can't make this bigger. I'm gonna go back just for these important stuff at the top, okay? Because it's important. Okay, so they have said that you have to. So this exercise is about importing the rule. Okay, and so Intuit has given you the file that you need to import. Okay, so if you click this button, it's going to download the file or take you to that file that you need to download. Now, this is what my team member who wrote this exercise, converted this exercise, discovered. For some reason, the file Intuit provides, which is star.xlsx, is not in the correct format for importing and needs to be adjusted. Okay, after downloading the file, you will need to find it on your computer, likely in your downloads folder, open it, enable editing, then save as in the Excel 97 2003 workbook XLS format. Okay? All right. I have not actually done this, so we're going to do it together, folks. We're going to do it together and see if we can figure this out. All right, let's see what happens. I'm a Mac girl. Those of you who have been around me for a while know that I hate all things Microsoft. I am fully 100% Apple Kool-Aid. So we'll see what we can do here. All right, so there is the file. I'm going to open it now, and I want to, before we do anything with it, I only have Excel on my computer at all because of the Quick Notes. Those of you who are in the certification courses know that they come with Quick Notes, which is kind of like the Cliff Notes version of the training. And we have an editor that makes them pretty for us because I'm not into pretty. And she was like, I can't work with you unless you're on Microsoft. And I'm like, So I downloaded. That's why I have it here. So I don't know what would happen. All right, so I just wanted to make it bigger so we could take a look at it. Okay. Okay, so this is what we are, this is what we're importing. Can you see it? I don't know how to make it any bigger. How do I, here we go. Look at that. Okay. Look at this. Okay, so this is the file that they gave you that already has rules. So these are the rule names: Hicks Hardware, Hall Properties, and Chin's Gas. Okay, and look at this. It's total programming language. If you have done any other imports and exports with QBO, you'll notice that all of them are in normal language. Okay, so the rules are not. The rules are in programming language. And so you do not want to ever just write, you can't just write a rule in, you just can't write a rule in Excel and then import it, okay? Because it has to have all of this programming type language, okay? So I wanted to show you that. Now, what does it say? We have to save it as a different format. File here, file, save as this one. What did it say in the exercise? Basic. Oh, here, Excel 97. It said in the exercise it said 2003. But I don't think it has to be 2003. I think it just has to be XLS. Okay, we're going to try that. Bank, so we have to remember the file that we're creating. Bank rules file 22, okay? .xls, that's what we're looking. So Susie is saying, so somebody says, somebody else asked about, okay, Tracy says that she doesn't have Excel for editing, maybe Google Sheets will work. And then Susie replied, you can open and export Excel files from Numbers and Google Sheets if interested. So Numbers is the Mac version, but I already have it. This is the Mac version of Excel. So we'll see. Okay, so I'm going to save that. Okay. And I'm going to hide Excel. Okay. All right, so let's go. So now I'm going to go back to the the exercise. So now we have that file, so it should work. Okay. All right, so we've got our file. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the left navigation bar, hover over transactions, then select rules. Okay, so transactions and select rules. Now we don't have any rules set up yet, so we're going to click go to rules. Okay, now right here where it says new rule, if you click the arrow, you have an option to import rules. Now notice there is also an option, this is how you would export rules. If you had a list of rules here, we'll take a look at that later. So you have a list of rules, then you can export them right here. Okay, so but for this exercise, we're going to import them. We're going to click import rules. We're going to select the file to upload. And it should be this one right here. Notice, can you see that? It's kind of tiny. I can't make it any bigger for you. But right here, the XLSX version is grayed out. Like I couldn't even select it. That's why my team member, when they worked on this exercise, had to like figure this out. Okay, so I selected bank rules, and then you click open. Okay, so we did that. We find it. You will know the correct file has been selected and ready to be imported because the lettering on the file name will be green. So here we go, green. Okay, so now I'm going to click next. Okay, so the next thing it's going to ask me is which of the rules that are inside the that spreadsheet, which of them are we importing? And there were 3. Remember, we looked at the file, we saw the 3: Hicks Hardware, Hall Properties, Chin's Gas. Okay, now it has translated that file. Let me look at it. Let's look at that file again. Okay, look. We don't know. It knows. Let me go back. It knows that it's money in, money out, or they're all money out. Okay? Where do we see that on the spreadsheet? I don't know. We don't. I mean, it must be somewhere. Okay? But we don't know. The conditions, what it's looking for. And so this is what it's looking for, and then what it does after. When we talked about bank rules before, we talked about how bank rules, they look for a certain set of conditions. It's like an if-then. So if this, then do this, okay? And none of these rules are set to auto-add. We talked about that before. You typically never want rules to auto-add unless you're 100% sure that they are working. Okay, so now we're going to click next. Okay, now on the next screen, notice that the Hall Properties rent and car fields are empty. This is because the names from the imported file were slightly different than what is in Craig's account, and QBO is not able to automatically match them. You will need to match these to similar ones in Craig's account. Okay, so by the way, all of this extra stuff, this is like my team. This is Fast and Easy QBO pointing all of this stuff out. Like this is, if we didn't have time to go back and look at the actual original exercise, but you'll notice, I'm sure, that they don't hardly give you any of this detail. Okay, so payees, look, Hicks Hardware, Hicks Hardwares. Hall Properties rent, that's what it sees in the spreadsheet. Okay, this is what it sees in the spreadsheet. Look, let's go back to it again. Hall Properties. Where is Hall Properties rent? Oh, here it is. Hall Properties rent. Okay, that's supposedly the payee, but we don't recognize in QBO a vendor with that name. So we have to find the vendor that is what that means. So I'm going to select here. I'm going to go to Hall Properties right there. Okay, so that's Hall Properties. Okay, so now the categories. So the categories now also have to match. Let's look at the original file. Okay, so here is the category. This is the actions. This is what it wants you to do. Okay, and if it says it should be car, but there is no category called car. There is, however, a category called automobile. And so that's what we're selecting here. Automobile. Okay. All right. So we're having to match. If you guys have done any of the other exercises doing importing of things, we have exercises on importing customers for sure. I don't know what other exercises we have that you're doing importing, but we have several. And it's a similar process in that you have to first look at the file, decide what from the file you want to come over, and then you always have to go, how does what the file match what's in QBO, and match them up like that. But it's a very different experience. It's a very different user interface. Okay, so all right, so now step 10, we're going to click next. 3 rules were successfully imported. Okay, so we're going to click finish. Woohoo, there's the rules. So now that I have rules, look, I can click here and export rules. Okay, so I can export right there if I wanted to. Okay, all 3 rules can be seen here on the rules page. If they ever need to be edited, this is where it could be done. So if you needed to edit a rule, you would just click edit. And then it looks just like what we're used to seeing when we're doing a rule. Okay, so you can't tell that this was an imported rule. Okay, so that's how you can do it. By the way, we talked about this briefly before, but I didn't have rules to be able to show you, is that you can change the priority by clicking and dragging. Okay, so you can have it go, it will always go in the order of the first one. So if you have 2 that are similar, maybe they're 2 for Hicks Hardware, but one of them is, well, I can't think off the top of my head, but anyway, we'll always go in the order that's there. So that's how you can rearrange them. Okay. All right. So, so all 3 can be, that's where you can edit it. That's where you can change the priority. Though not part of Intuit's exercise, let's see how this looks on the bank feeds when applied to a transaction. So we're going to go to bank transactions, which the exercise is having us do right here. But I want to point out, for those of you who are brand new, if you're brand new, I'm sure this whole conversation is a little over your head. I probably should have marked this as an advanced exercise. Sorry. But if you're new, then I want to point out that remember how we got here from transactions and we selected rules? Every time that you see a drop down on the left-hand side, it marks a tab in that. So this is called the Transactions Center, and the Transactions Center has these different tabs, these different sections of it. And those are what you see, they're identical. See, so here bank transactions, app transactions, receipts, etc. Here we go, bank transactions, app transactions, receipts, etc. Okay, so you can get there. So right now in the exercise, we are going to the bank transactions. So I can click here, or I can go here. You'll notice that in the sample company, bank transactions is also flagged. It's bookmarked. So because of that, it also shows up here in bookmarks. So all of those work and get you to the same place. Okay, so we're going to bank transactions. We're going to close some pop-ups. Okay. Scroll to the bottom of the page to the Hicks hardware transaction. Here you can see the new rule has been applied to this transaction and categorized it. So let's take a look. We're going to scroll down to Hicks hardware. Okay. Notice it says rule. Can you see that? It says the word rule right there. So now it says whatever this rule was, let's take a look at it. The Hicks hardware rule said what? Let's edit it. Okay. So the Hicks hardware rule said if it's money out, okay, and it contains the description Hicks hardware, and it is less than $200, what should it do? It should automatically assign, okay, the category of supplies and the payee of Hicks hardware. Okay? Here is a problem. A little bit advanced. If you guys are brand new, I'm just going to take this a little bit more advanced. Okay? I want you to notice a problem. Okay? Let me go back to bank transactions. The exercise is done, so I'm going to close the exercise so we can see it on a bigger screen. Okay? We go back to that Hicks hardware transaction. Okay? So, here it found this Hicks hardware transaction. It said, hey, it's under, what was that number, $200? It's under $200, so we're going to mark it as supplies, and we could have set that little auto add check mark, and if we had set that auto add check mark, it would click add, and poof, gone. It would be gone from our bank fee transaction. But here's the problem. I'm going to click Hicks hardware. This is a little advanced, so just some of you, you'll get this. Others of you, don't worry about it. You'll get it eventually, okay? The whole purpose of the bank feed transactions is for you to match existing transactions in QBO, okay? That's the whole purpose. If you're confused about bank feed transactions, watch the last couple of videos of Exercise of the Week. We've been going over this the last couple of weeks. Everything that you see here is a bank feed transaction. It's attempting to match a transaction in QBO. Some of them found matches. One match found, okay? This one didn't find a match. And by the way, if it had found a match, the rule, it wouldn't apply the rule to it. Matches always come before rules, okay? So let me go into this Hicks hardware. I'm going to click match, and now it's going to search for transactions that are in QuickBooks Online that have not been reconciled, that have not been matched to any other transactions, and it's going to see, is there any transaction out there that maybe this should match to? And if I am a good bookkeeper and astute, I would notice that, oh, here's a QuickBooks Online transaction. Oh, sorry, you can't see it. My head's in the way. Here's a QuickBooks Online transaction. It's an expense for Hicks hardware that's $24.36. What's the amount of the bank transaction? $24.38. There is a very good chance that this Hicks hardware is the correct, where to go? This Hicks hardware is the correct thing. It actually should match this, but it can't because there's a typo in this expense. So what I should do is I should go into this expense. If I'm sure that it's the same one that's reflected in the bank, I should go into this transaction and edit the amount so that it actually matches. This is the problem with auto add. Because if it had auto added that transaction, I would never have known that there was a transaction out there that had a typo in it. That the only reason it didn't match was because of this typo. That's the danger of auto add. Okay. All right, let's go back. So I think I'm done with my speech. Okay, I'm done with my soapbox. Let me see if there are any questions about the exercise or, oh, sorry, there's one more thing that I wanted to show you. So I'm going to exit out of here, and I'm going to go, for those of you who are familiar with importing and exporting, you'll know that under the gear icon or the settings cog, you have an option here to import data. Okay, so if I click import data, this has all of the things that you can import. You can import bank data, bank transactions, if you can't automatically connect it to a bank. Unfortunately, this is the only one you cannot do in the sample company. It drives me crazy. But you can import a list of customers, vendors, chart of accounts, products and services, invoices, journal entries, all these things that you can import, okay? Notice what's missing. Bank rules, okay? So bank rules is not like, you might think to yourself, oh, I want to import bank rules. I'm just going to go to the gear icon, select bank, or select import data, and it's not there. And you think to yourself, oh my gosh, I could swear I had the ability to import bank rules, but it's not there. Okay, so it's just one of those things you have to remember. You have to go into rules and use this little button to import rules this way. The other thing that's important, let me show you this. If I go to import data, and let's say I want to import a list of customers, it will give me a sample file option. And if you guys have done this in our other exercises, you're familiar with this. You're familiar with the sample file, what your data should look like in order to upload it. So we don't have a sample file when we're doing bank rule imports. We don't have it, which makes sense because it's all like programming gibberish. It's not like native language, actual English, like it is for these other things. So some key differences between importing bank rules and importing anything else. Okay, all right, I'm gonna be done with that. I'm gonna go back to any questions. So, yes, we talked about Google Sheets. Oh my gosh, Nancy! Holy cow, this is phenomenal! Because of my learning in the gym, I accepted a job doing bookkeeping for a restaurant. I learned about sales receipts. Holy cow! Nancy, that is fantastic! Oh my gosh! I should start collecting these stories, guys. You know what I don't have in the gym is I don't have like a, tell us your stories, give us reviews, give us feedback, like whatever. I don't have that in the gym. It's been on my list for a really long time, but I want to collect these stories about that's amazing. Oh my gosh. All right, Holly is an Apple gal too. We talked about Google Sheets. Okay, Tracy. Oh my gosh, Tracy. Am I the only person in this field that hates Excel? No, I am also an Excel hater, but yes, there are a lot of people who love Excel, use it for all sorts of things. Okay. Finally got into Google Sheets, but no idea how to save it as XLS format. Maybe somebody can help with that. Who was it that said you could open it in Excel files? Susie, maybe you could reach out to Tracy and show her how to export as an Excel file. Okay. Cheryl asked, where'd it go? Oh, did I do that again? No. Why isn't Cheryl showing up? Check that. There we go. Dang it. Okay. Cheryl says, so you should always have a transaction for every bank transaction to match. Yes. 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 That is entitled, and watch, I think it was it 2 weeks ago, guys, where we went in detail about the whole matching process, why we're matching. Everything that happens in the bank needs to also happen in QBO. there will actually be more information in QBO than there is in the bank. Oh, actually, I'm thinking of something else that I recorded where I went about into that in detail. But yes, that is the entire process. Okay. Cynthia says, yes, you need testimonials. Yes, I need testimonials. I have a ton of testimonials. I have testimonials about, oh yeah, we love the gym. Like, that's great. But I want testimonials of like, this helped me land a job, or this, like, I learned something that I needed for a client, or I landed this client because of something I learned in the gym. Or that I need that kind of testimonial. Or, BooksMatch. Or I'm about to talk to you about 321. I know I've got a couple people who have said, yeah, 321 landed me a job. Okay. All right. So let's see. Yay, Nancy. Everyone's congratulating Nancy. Oh my gosh. Bella says she loves Excel. Okay. All righty. Thank you for all you do. Let's see. Angie says, would you consider making a cheat sheet showing how to navigate QBO, maybe sell for a reasonable price? So that's Nancy or Angie. That is what the Getting Started course is. The Getting Started course is how to navigate QBO, like where all of the things are and the terminology and all of that. So by being a member of the locker room, you automatically have access to that course, and it is free. So, all right. So in addition to, so one of the things that comes with the exercise of the week and comes with the gym are marketing prompts. And the reason that we have marketing prompts is because so many people were saying, well, like people, when they talk about like trying to find clients, they always say, like, I know that I'm supposed to post on social media, but I don't know what to say. Okay. So we now have with the gym, the entire gym comes with marketing prompts that you earn as you work through the gym. You unlock these different marketing prompts. And so the exercise of the week is no different. So the exercise of the week. Now, what we talked about today, let me make this a little bigger. Here is our exercise. Here's our marketing prompt for today. And Joel also put it in the chat for those of you guys who are, those of you who are on with us live. And this marketing prompt is a little bit different, okay? So most marketing prompts, let me just scroll down to another one, okay, is you learned about such and such, here's a sample post, okay? Today is a little different because the marketing prompts that we typically use, we like reach out, we post to a business owner and we say, hey, let me show you how to do this cool thing in QuickBooks Online. And, but importing and exporting bank rules is really not something that your client should be doing. It's really a thing that you do when you have multiple clients who may, need similar rules, okay? You've worked hard, you've set up this rule, you don't want to have to do it again for another client, okay? So it's really something that you do, not that your business owner could do, okay? So I wrote that here in the marketing prompt. This is not a process you want to teach to business owners, as it's mostly related to a process bookkeepers use. However, you can still invite business owners to take a look at what they're doing. And so here's the sample post. Here's what you're going to say. Hey, business owner, there are lots of ways to automate your bookkeeping in QuickBooks Online. One thing you may have discovered already are bank rules. They can be super handy in streamlining your process, but they can also get you into trouble if they aren't set up correctly. Let's get together so we can chat about it. Okay? All right. So we've talked about like the trouble that you can get into with auto add, and we've talked about like the priority. We've talked about how it should match first. So these are all things that you now know, and you can have this conversation with the business owner. Now, let me talk. I'm going to run through this quickly. I do this every week because people want to know, hey, I've earned these marketing prompts. Now, what do I do? How do I get a client? And hold on. Let me make sure. Okay. So so everyone wants to know, how do I get a client? And I give you these marketing prompts and they're like, how do I use these marketing prompts? Okay. So we are not a marketing company. And we're never going to be a marketing company. So we that's just a whole nother game. Okay. But there is one marketing method that we teach that is, we believe the most effective way to market yourself, and anybody can do it. Okay, so I'm going to run through this quickly, and then I'm going to mention a new resource. So, even if you've seen this before, stick with me to the end, because I have a conversation that came up last week made me do some research, and so I'm going to talk about this. Okay, so let me share my screen. I click play. All right. So this is the 3-2-1 method, and it is a marketing methodology created by a company called Bolthouse that I am involved with. They have given us permission to use this. We've adapted it for our own purposes, and all they want us to do is let you know that it's theirs. So that's why I always say that at the beginning. Okay. So the 3-2-1 method. Now, a couple weeks ago, I watched a video where another guy basically talked about this same method, like he had his own kind of version of it. And one of the things he said was consistency is key. Consistency is the most important thing, because he said, he used the example of going to the gym. Like, if you go to the gym once a month, it's really not going to do much for you. So the key to finding results in working out is consistency, doing it over and over. Okay, so here's what you're going to do. Every single day, 3 times per day, you are going to reach out directly to specific people. Okay, you're going to reach out to 3 specific people. This is not posting a flyer in your apartment lobby. This is not sending an email blast to everyone you know. This is reaching out to 3 specific people via email, text, DM, phone call, or whatever. And you are not you're not selling your services. This is the purpose of this phase of the activity is not to sell yourself at all. The purpose is to widen your network of the people that you know. Okay, so we all, on average, have actual relationships with people who are about 200 people. Okay, but we know a much wider circle of people. Like, everyone knows other people. So the purpose of this is to simply say, hey, guess what? I'm a QuickBooks Online Pro advisor. Who do you know that I could connect with? Okay, so you are looking for, you're not selling your services. You're looking for people who are small businesses who use QuickBooks Online. And at the end, when I talk about this, we're going to also talk about niche. Okay, so you're going to reach out. Who do you know that I could connect with? Now, of that activity, so now at a base minimum, you're now reaching out 3 times per day, meaning 15. So in a week, you've got 15 people that you've reached out to. Some people will say, dang, I don't know any small business owners. And other people will say, I know 20 small business owners. Yeah, let me introduce you. Let me invite you to this thing or whatever. It's going to be a range. But what you're hoping for is, out of that activity, that 2 times per week, you're going to connect with somebody who is actually a potential client. Remember, this first round, the top of the pyramid, these are not potential clients that you're talking about. You don't want to assume that they are potential clients. This is not Amway. You are not selling soap, okay? Not everybody that you meet needs your services. But what you're doing is you're trying to find people who do need your services, okay? Once you are connected, or once somebody makes an introduction to those people, you're simply going to say, hey, I'm a QuickBooks Online Pro advisor, would love to stay connected in case you need any help. Okay, so that's all you're doing. You are still not selling your services to them. You are just connecting with them. You're developing a relationship with them. Why would they hire you when they don't even know you? Like if you go and you bookkeeping is a very high trust business. Okay. So I'm a business owner. Some random person, maybe it was an introduction from somebody else, says, hey, let me introduce you to Margie, and or let me introduce you to Sally. And Sally says, hey, Margie, I would love to be your bookkeeper. Like, well, I don't know you, Sally. Like, why don't you demonstrate that you even know what you're like? Why would I hire Sally when I don't even know her? Okay. So do not sell your services or attempt to sell your services until you actually have developed a relationship with somebody. Okay. It's doing it before you have developed the relationship. That is what makes it sleazy. And we are not about being sleazy. Okay. So all you're doing is you're saying, hey, just want to let you know, I'm a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. Would love to stay connected in case you need any help. Okay. And then you're going to connect with them on LinkedIn or your social media platform of choice. The great thing about LinkedIn is that with your byline, you can add on your byline that you are a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. Don't say QBO. Nobody knows what that is. Always say QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor in your byline. The great thing about LinkedIn is that every time that you do anything in LinkedIn, it has your name and your byline. Okay, so it has both of those things. With the other media platforms that I know of, you have to somebody has to click to remember that that's who you are, unless you put it as part of your name. Okay, so you want to say that if you put it in your byline that you're a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor, then every time you do something, it shows up. Okay, so now you're connected to all these people, and this is how you're going to use those marketing prompts. Is you're going to post QBO tips a couple of times a week. Okay, so you can use the marketing prompts as is. You can make it into some people take it, put it in Canva, make it into a pretty branded thing. I know one person takes it, plugs it into ChatGPT and writes a whole article about it. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Do not think that anyone is going to see this ad and say, oh my gosh, I totally want to sit down with you and talk to you about bank rules. That's not the point. If anybody actually did that, I would be shocked. The whole point of this is just to build that activity and that name recognition. Okay, so that people recognize you as an expert in the field. That's what you're doing. Now, there's somebody I'm connected to on LinkedIn. And by the way, you're all welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn. I don't accept friend requests on Facebook from people who are not my actual friends. But if you're on LinkedIn, I accept almost all LinkedIn requests, except for the people who it's clear that the reason that they're connecting with me is because they want to sell me something. Okay? So you're all welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn. So somebody that's in the gym and I see this every day, he is posting my marketing prompts on his page. Now, whether he's getting any business from it or not, I don't know. But the point is, every time I see it, I think to myself, I hope that he is growing his network as well as posting the prompts, because it doesn't do you any good to just post the prompts. You have to always be in widening your network, widening your network so that more and more people are seeing your prompts. Okay, so that's super important. Okay, in addition to your own posts, you are also going to like and comment on other people's posts. Now, when you do this, and it just takes a few minutes a day, I do it every morning, before I wake up. I'm scrolling in bed. I'm under the covers because I don't want to wake Joel up with the light from my phone. So I'm like a little kid with the flashlight reading the book, only I'm under my covers first thing in the morning with my phone, scrolling my social media. And when you like somebody else's stuff, if you're on LinkedIn, that bio says, I'm a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. Now, when you are commenting on somebody else's post, please, for the love of all that is good and mighty, do not promote your services, okay? When you're commenting on other posts, this is not the time to say, hey, do you want to hire me as a bookkeeper? This is like, be a normal, natural human being. Be a normal, natural human being. If somebody is posting a picture of a beautiful sunset that they saw on vacation, say, oh, what a beautiful picture. You're such a great photographer. Oh, I'd love to go there someday. Or maybe you could ask them a question like, how long were you there? I've been thinking about taking a trip to Belize, or like whatever it is. You're not talking about bookkeeping. You're being a normal, natural human being commenting on like whatever thing there is, okay? Don't be sleazy. This is not about being sleazy, okay? Now, Sarah, just a couple more things. In general, all that you're doing is that you are waving your flag. You're just saying, hey, I'm a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. I'm a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor, so people know when the time is right that they will come to you. If you are providing value, if you are posting valuable tips about QuickBooks Online, they know that you are an expert in QuickBooks Online. They know that you are a certified pro advisor. When the time comes that they need a bookkeeper, they will turn to you, okay? The other thing that I see people doing a lot is you never want to twist the arm of a business owner to try and get them to, your job is not to convince them that they need bookkeeping, okay? They will reach out, they will look for a bookkeeper when their business is at a point where they can no longer handle it themselves. If a business owner is handling the bookkeeping themselves and they're like, I'm fine, that means that they are not a successful business. Sorry. If a business owner has time to do their own books, that means that their business, they are not paying attention to like actually growing their business. So we are not about convincing people, twisting arms or whatever. We are just positioning ourselves so when the time is right for them to reach out to you, you are the one that they think of, okay? I always mention realtors. Like, how many times do you need a realtor in your life? Probably, unless you're in the military, on one hand, you can name the number of times that you've needed a realtor in your life. But you know who the realtors are in your life, right? Because they are constantly telling you they are realtors, right? They're constantly saying, oh, this house is for sale, or, oh, have you looked at this? Or here's an article about, whatever. So, okay, so that's what you're doing. You're wanting to develop a relationship with these people so that they know, like, and trust you. This is a high trust business. They're not going to turn over all of their books to a total stranger. They're going to hand it over to somebody they have developed a relationship with, somebody that they know, like, and trust, okay? Now, all of this activity that we've been talking about is the goal, and these are all minimums, remember, is to once a month be able to do a diagnostic review, okay? If you don't know how to do a diagnostic review, then you learn it in the cleanup course. So our cleanup course, you learn how to actually analyze a set of books, what you're actually looking for, how to present the proposal to the business owner so that in a way that makes them see how valuable you are so that you can sign them up as a client. So we have the diagnostic review available in the cleanup course. Speaking of the cleanup course, you guys should probably all know by now is that on July 30th, Corey and I are going to sit down. Corey is the creator she's our cleanup whiz, and she's the creator of this course. And she and I are going to sit down and talk about this initial conversation that you have with a business owner. What questions she asks. She has a checklist of things to talk about. This is not the diagnostic review. This is when you have that initial conversation with the business owner to then go do a diagnostic review. Okay, we're going to actually role play it so you can actually see how what the back and forth is like and how she keeps it. This is important, how she keeps it to like 15 minutes. I know when I was doing these before, I would say to people, so tell me what's going on in your business. And then like some of them could talk for an hour and not say anything. So Corey has a very quick like checklist of asking questions, and you need to be in control. Don't let the client control you. Be in control, ask the questions, and then you're off to go do the diagnostic review. So Joel is putting the link in the chat. I can't see the chat when I'm doing this presentation, but it should be there. And so you can sign up for that webinar. It's at noon, 12 o'clock Eastern on July 30th. Okay. So we teach you how to do it in the cleanup course. But there's also a ton of resources, YouTube videos, other courses, whatever, online. Just know, some people call it just like a consultation, like whatever. You're like, this is what you want to do at least once a month. And you're going to land that. If nobody has reached out to you first, you're going to land that by reaching out to these people that have, that you've developed this relationship with. You know that they're using QuickBooks Online, and you're just going to say, hey, as you know, I'm a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. Would you like me to take a look at your books and see how you're doing? That's all it is. And then they're going to say yes or no, or they're going to ignore you. You know, they're going to be, most of the time, they're going to be polite and say, oh, not at this time. I don't need it at this time, but thanks. Thanks for reaching out. Like, anyway, people always assume that a negative thing is going to happen, and most of the time it's not the negative thing that happens. But anyway, if you are in the cleanup course, by the way, another way you could start this conversation is simply by saying, hey, I just finished a course on diagnostic reviews, and I'm looking for people to practice. Would you be open to, sharing your books, and I'll write up a little report for you, whatever, free of charge. So anyway, all right, so that's what you're going to do. Now, let me just hop back to see if anything has come up for the chat. Okay. Okay. That is for earlier. Okay, so nobody's talking about that presentation. Okay, so here's the other thing that I wanted to mention to you. So last week we had a conversation after I did like the whole 3-2-1 speech. Somebody said, the top thing is to reach out to people you know. And somebody said to me, well, I've reached out to everybody that I know and I came up with nothing. And we had a little bit of conversation how it's probably not likely that you actually did reach out to everybody that you know, because, we tend to think that we know less people than we actually do, okay? So, like, if you ever playing, what's that word, that game, Scattergories? And they're like, oh, like, come up with, list every kind of animal, right? And then you can only think, when you write down all the animals you can think of, it's like a minuscule amount of animals that you would actually recognize if somebody said the name or you saw a picture, okay? You actually know way more than you think you do. So Bold House has a list of mind joggers, memory joggers, to help you like come up with like lists of people that you can, reach out to for this 3-2-1 method. And I was looking for it this morning. I couldn't find it. But I am going to keep looking, and I am going to develop like as a little freebie to go with the 3-2-1, like a checklist of people that like you can brainstorm and come up with that. But while I was looking through their material for that, I found another resource that is amazing. Like, it's amazing. You guys need to know about this resource. Okay, so this is called, and Joel will put it in the chat, it's called Biz Journals or Business Journals, okay? So one of the things that, I keep doing that. One of the things that a Bold House recommends, he said it costs, so you can see that it's a membership. It costs about $100 to have access to all of these lists and records of people. So you can go into, and the other thing is about industries. So if you are interested in niching down into a specific industry, which I don't talk about that at all, but that is huge. That's huge. I met a guy at Scaling New Heights who his entire business is bookkeeping for plumbers. And he was wearing a t-shirt that said bookkeeping for plumbers. And I was like, oh my gosh, could you please come talk to my community? So, and he agreed. So at some point I want to bring him in and talk to you guys, because it was just so beautiful. When you have a specialty, when you have a niche, okay, it makes it so much easier to find clients. How do you find a niche? You find a niche. There's a bunch of different ways. What are you interested in? What do you have experience with? And you just dive into that. Find out if you want to be a bookkeeper for plumbers, you find out all you can about the plumbing industry. You find out what special needs do they have for bookkeeping. The same with, I ran across a profile once of somebody who was a bookkeeper for the beauty industry. I said a couple weeks ago on the live stream that if I had to do it all over again, I would become the bookkeeper for food trucks, because I love food trucks, and because every time that I go to a food truck, I could write it off as a business expense. So anyway, and here's, I was looking on this website earlier. They have, so you can go to this lists. And I found there's all of these lists of people: Colorado credit unions, IT consultant firms, solar companies. I did find one in here earlier about food trucks, which made me laugh because I was thinking about this. I don't know. Oh, here it is. Highest rated food trucks in the triad. Okay, so you can use this to find people in the industry. And what's great is, and I just looked at this morning, but what Angelique said from Bold House is that you can actually find the people, okay? So you can find a person who is, let's just say, for example, food trucks, okay? Let me go back to that one. Okay, so in these lists and articles, you can go on LinkedIn and you can find who is the person that runs this Rockin' Moroccan place, okay, this food truck. And you could connect with them on LinkedIn and say, hey, if you are interested in it, you could say, hey, I'm really interested in becoming, I'm a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. I'm really interested in becoming a bookkeeper specifically for food trucks. Would love to stay connected. That's all it is. Be connected with that. And then you can watch whoever the owner is of that Rockin' Moroccan. You can find whoever that is that you connected to. You can watch their activity. What groups do they belong to? What are they posting about? You can also find topics on this website of things to talk about in that industry, like whatever niche you have selected. So they have here by industry, and then they have by city. So you can join for $100 a year and have tons and tons and tons of people. This is another icebreaker. Oh, hey, I read about you in such and such, was really impressed, would love to stay connected. That's all it is. And, the things that turn me off when somebody reaches out to me, and I get these all the time, I get these cold outreaches from LinkedIn. Things that turn me off. I'm going to take off my screen share because this is important, okay? The things that turn me off are, number one, when it's clear that they are not actually talking to me, okay? When it's when they send me a message that says, your profile is very impressive, and I think that, I would love to be connected to you. Like, your profile is very impressive. What precisely is impressive about my profile? And do you even know my name or what I do? Like, so generic reach outs are like really, are just such a turnoff. The other thing that's a turnoff is, like, I get all the time, here's one I got just the other day that made me laugh. It said, we help content creators, or we help people like you monetize your expertise. And it made me laugh because I'm like, well, clearly you don't know what I do, because I'm already monetizing my expertise. Like, I don't think I need help monetizing my expertise. That's not where I struggle. So anyway, there's so much that you can do. So if you are feeling like you're tapped out with the friends and family thing, or like people that you know from soccer, like whatever, then there's just so much people that you can reach out to. One thing that you don't want to do, that you want to avoid, is groups that are about accounting and bookkeeping. Okay, because that's not where you're going to find your clients. You need to be active in the niche of people. Join a group. I'm just going to keep using the food truck example. I'm a bookkeeper for food trucks. I'm going to join books or groups that are about food trucks, and I am not going to talk about bookkeeping in these groups. I'm just going to learn about the industry. I'm going to make friends. I'm going to, and then as people know, like, and trust me, and you're not posting in the groups, you're not posting the marketing prompts in the groups, you're posting them on your own feed. But if you have made connections with people in the groups, then they'll see you, okay? All right, that's enough talking about it. Oh my gosh, it's way after. All right, let's see. Let me go back through the feed. Let me go through the chat to make sure. Okay, we got the marketing prompt. Okay. Oh, Angie says, sorry, should have explained better so it could be printed out, so I will take a me. She said, I start my new job tomorrow at a dealership. She's talking about the, when she was asking me about, like, how to navigate QuickBooks Online. I feel like there's already stuff out there. So, I don't know. Good luck at your dealership. I hope that we helped you land that gig. Okay, let's see. All right, Kalina said, I need to learn how to navigate QBO. Also, how do I access the gym? Is it a membership? I'm new. Okay, so Kalina, you missed the first whole hour of when I talked about all of this, which is fine. So the Getting Started course, which you automatically have as a member of the QBO Gym Locker Room, you automatically have a Getting Started course that teaches you how to navigate QBO, okay? You access the gym. The gym is a membership, and that is fasteningtoqbo.com/gym. If you're still on the call, then Joel will put that in the link, or post the link in the chat, and so you can check that out. Okay. Let's see, and then also watch the replay of this because I talked about it a lot. I've talked about it too much. Anyway, okay. Let's see. Hello. Okay, hello everyone. So this person I currently work in I can't put this on the screen because it's too long. DIWM for QuickBooks Online. What does DIWM mean, Katrina? DIWM. So Katrina is wondering if she could pass on referrals to other people. What I would recommend, Katrina, is that you sign up for BooksMatch as a recruiter. You do have to have a separate email address because we don't currently have an ability to be both. But if you have a separate email address that you can use to sign up for, just go to booksmatch.us and sign up for a recruiter account. Then you can see who in the gym is ranked the highest, and that would be the best place to send your referrals. That's what I do actually when I get my pro advisor leads, because I'm no longer taking on clients. That's exactly what I do, is I go to BooksMatch and I look at who's ranked highest, and then I make an introduction. So that's what I would recommend that you do, Katrina. Okay. Oh, Jenny. Oh, I wish this is really big. I don't think I can put it on. No. Oh, I wish I could put it on screen. This is amazing. Jenny says, I'm one of those people who, quote, doesn't know any business owners. She says, after a year of attending the same small networking group, someone who was set on doing her books randomly reached out and hired me. Also, someone who was an acquaintance of 5 years ago opened her business. She reached out for a question. I offered a diagnostic review and she hired me. I'm here to say that even if you don't know anyone, just keep showing up. Hallelujah! Jenny, that is amazing. That is amazing. Oh my gosh, that is amazing. That's it. Just be consistent, keep showing up. That is, yeah. She asked a question. I offered a diagnostic review. That is how it's done. That is how it's done. Okay. Okay, let's see. I tried that for attorneys and so she was doing, I tried that for attorneys and they rejected my request. So, yeah, you do have to have some specialty knowledge with, there is a woman on YouTube who is a bookkeeper I think it's called Bookkeeping for Attorneys or Bookkeeping for Lawyers or something like that. There is a woman on YouTube, that is her niche. And she does all YouTube videos about how to do special. I want to say it's called ILOTA, ILOTA, which is the special, which is like some special account that's how they keep track of their retainers. So look to her and see and like reach out to her and find out how do I get into this? How do I get into this? Because you do have to learn some stuff. Okay, let's see. She said she tried joining a Facebook group for attorneys in Alabama and they rejected. Yeah, well, so keep asking. If you're asking a girl out for a date and she says no, you don't stop asking other girls for dates. You don't say oh, that's it. I asked one girl for a date and I guess I'm never going to date anyone or get married. But yeah. So yeah, some groups are like that. They're only going to have that, and that's fine. But you can still make friends with people who are in the group. Anyway, lots and lots of stuff. Okay. Katrina says, do it with me. Sorry, I need clients. I don't know what that was about. Oh, you're asking for people to refer clients to you. No, we do not do that here. No. That is why we have the gym. Okay, that is why we have the gym, so that you can gain experience, so you can verify your skills, and so that you can increase your ranking. That's what other people are going to do, is they're going to look for people who are ranked high. Why would I refer any business to you if I don't know how you're doing, if you can actually do the thing? So that's why we have the gym. That's why we have BooksMatch. That's why we have the rankings. So, yeah. Okay. Let's see. Artisani. Oh, she's the bookkeeping for, yeah. Oh, what is it? Not Ilotta, but something else. Iolta is the account for retainers. Okay, yeah. So another thing, Lindsay, I would suggest Crystal Zachary is in our group, and she landed an accounting. I'll try and connect you. Oh, Lindsay, that's perfect. Lindsay says she was a paralegal. That's amazing. That's amazing. So totally brand yourself as, bookkeeping for attorneys and other people. You start by going to, if you're going to be an attorney. So this is going back to the 3-2-1 method. When you do that 3 times a day, you're going to reach out to people and you're going to say, I'm a QuickBooks Online advisor, and I do bookkeeping specifically for attorneys. Who do you know that's an attorney that I could connect with? And that's how it starts. You just start one at a time, and somebody introduces you to this person who's an attorney, and you totally brand yourself, and everything, the marketing prompts that you put out there, you brand them as specifically for lawyers. So instead of saying, hey, business owners, you say, hey, attorneys, and you post some kind of a thing that is specific to them. Yep. And anyway, all right, let's see. Okay. So if you are having, so Katrina is saying that she is trying to publish her profile, and I was told that you have to have a business license. Yeah. I mean, we don't control the Pro Advisor directory, so if you have any problems with that, reach out to accountant_training@intuit.com. They're very slow at responding, but they're the ones that help with your Pro Advisor profile. Where do you go to see how BooksMatch looks like to recruiters? You can go to booksmatch.us, and that will, then you can see the website. Crystal Zachary, and it's Christel. She's in the group. So just it's Crystal Zachary. She's probably the only Crystal in the group that has that spelling. So that's how you can find it. Let's see. I was showing you. So booksmatch.us is, you can see what the sales page looks like. So this is what it looks like. So they can sign up and, all the stuff. There's me explaining. A couple of highlighted people. So that's what it looks like for them to sign up. And then the first thing that they do is they go into this talent finder. So that's what it looks like. Okay. All right. Let's see. The cleanup webinar that's coming up. I guess, let me go back. Okay, sorry. Okay, paralegal, I try to get, okay, looks like that's what it looks like to recruiters. Problems with BooksMatch, go email support@fastandeasyqbo.com. Can QBO be used for personal finance, not business? I'm interested in helping a niche of individuals who would be my clients in QBOA. I already have personal experience with Quicken, so familiar with that avenue. Sean, what you were talking about is not bookkeeping, but something called daily money management. And daily money management is actually how I got my start doing personal finance for individuals, seniors, and high net worth individuals. So QBO, some people are using QuickBooks, the new General Ledger product for that, and Quicken is very popular also. I highly recommend that you connect, if you want to go down this road, I highly recommend that you connect with the folks at ADAM, the American Association of Daily Money Managers. They are amazing, and they have so many resources. They want to help people. They help connect people who are looking for this with people who want to offer this service. They are amazing. So it's AADM, American Association of Daily Money Managers. Yes. Yeah, good. I see that you're familiar with them. Good. Okay. Crystal. Don't everyone rush out to connect with Crystal. Like I offered her to Lindsay because Lindsay is already in the that niche, and Crystal has one attorney client. You can talk to her about how she got that client, and she has loved working with them, and I think that's what she told me. So, but like, this is not an invitation for everybody to start slamming Crystal. Okay. All right. John, I guess BooksMatch is the only way I can invest on my marketing strategy for my business, right? I don't know what you mean. Like, no, there's a million ways that you can invest in marketing strategy. Like, there's a ton of people out there teaching marketing. I don't teach marketing. I just teach that one specific method. But there's a ton of people, a ton of resources out there on marketing. So I don't quite understand the question. The cleanup webinar so Erica is asking, is the cleanup webinar similar to the Zoom one done in January? It was January of this year. No, it is not. January of this year was our big launch and introduction to cleanup. That's not what this is. This is specifically a workshop on how to have that initial conversation with a business owner. We're going to talk about 3-2-1 in the beginning a little bit, to talk about how to develop relationships with people. But then once somebody says, yes, I will have a conversation with you, then what do you say? What questions do you ask? Like, how do you actually then move on to the diagnostic review? That's what we're going to role play, that conversation. Okay. So yeah. So no, totally different than what we did in January. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. So Michelle's having problems getting published on ProAdvisor. You know what? I'm sorry that people are having problems getting published on ProAdvisor. We don't work for Intuit. We don't control that at all. But I will tell you that we are hoping that BooksMatch smashes ProAdvisor. Like, that people will find more success eventually on books. This is the future, is that we hope that people will find more success finding quality bookkeepers on BooksMatch than they do on ProAdvisor. So I'm familiar. Megan, her name's actually Morgan. Morgan at Fine Points does attorney bookkeeping, and she does have really great YouTube videos. I was not aware that she did attorney bookkeeping. Okay. All right. I think we have come to the last of the questions in the chat. Holy freaking cow. It is 1:20. We have been on this call today for 2.5 hours almost. What the heck? What the heck? I'm glad that you guys love me so much. Yeah. So let me just check. Let's see. Okay. Looks to me like Holy cow. And so many of you are still on. Wow. I cannot believe that you guys love listening to me blab. So, I'm shocked. Anyway, so as I said, for next week, there will be no webinar, or there will be no live stream next week because Joel's brother is getting married and we're going to go celebrate. So no live stream next week. That is the 26th, I think. So no live stream next week. There will be an exercise of the week for those of you who are in the gym and have earned the exercise. It will be there, but you'll have to do it on your own, and we will walk through it. We'll walk through 2 exercises together the following week, and it will be on reports. So, okay? And we've got so much other juicy stuff coming. All right. I don't see any more chats coming in. So you guys have a fantastic weekend. I can't wait to hear your success story.